Hello everyone from the Pioneer's Daily Map Update. The war in the middle of Europe continues unabated. There are remarkable developments on the front line. I will try to convey it to you in a moment. According to the latest reports on the front line, the counterattack of the Ukrainian Armed Forces is continuing in at least 4 sectors of the front line. During the operations accompanied by artillery units attached to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the Ukrainian army managed to liberate some important regions. And where are the mentioned regions? Let's take a look at the latest developments together. The Pioneer continues to take the pulse of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Don't forget to log in our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map analysis and reports on the agenda. I would also be glad if you express your ideas in the comments. I'm reading all of your comments. If you're ready, let's get started. The Pioneer reports. Let's open our map and draw our attention to the latest situation on the Zaporizhia front line. As you may remember from our previous map reports, the operations of the Ukrainian Armed Forces are continuing quite violently on the Zaporizhia front line. There were a few remarkable regions here. Let's focus on the wind city of Makarivka, which is located in the center of Zaporizhia front line. As you may recall, the attacks of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the south of Makarivka have been going on for so long time. This region is important. If we look at the map from a wide angle, we can see the goal of the Ukrainian Armed Forces here more clearly. As you will recall, we know that in our previous reports, the Ukrainian army has often tried to divide the front line into 3 parts. The goal of the ongoing operation south of Makarivka is open to corridor to Berdyansk, which is located in the south. This corridor has the goal of dividing the current presence of the Russian armed forces in the region. When we look at the reports that have been received in recent days, the Ukrainian army has tried to take control of some areas around Makarivka. To a large extent, it was successful. Now I want to take a closer look at the direction of Makarivka and inform you about the latest operations of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The Zaporizhia district, located south of Makarivka, which you can see on the map, has been liberated by Ukrainian Armed Forces. After the fierce clashes, the region came under the control of the Ukrainian army. The armed forces of Ukraine have crossed another important threshold by liberating Zaporizhia. As you can see on the map, Zaporizhia is located about 3 kilometers from Makarivka. It is claimed by local sources that following the liberation operations of the Ukrainian army in the region, Ukrainian troops have established new fortification areas. According to information we have received from our local sources in the region, the Russian armed forces have begun to establish new defensive positions in the direction of Eurasian, located south of Zaporizhia. However, it is reported that the Russian troops in the region withdrew during the clashes in Zaporizhia, suffering heavy losses. Therefore, it is claimed that elements of the Russian armed forces do not have the strength to resist in the Ukrainian offensive that will begin in the direction of Eurasian. After the operations of the Ukrainian army, Russian sources shared report that the Kremlin administration made an emergency call. According to Russian sources, the Russian defense forces suffered heavy losses. Therefore, the Russian troops in the Eurasian do not have the strength to fight new wave of attack. The reports of the Russian sources in question are as follows. With the surrender of the Zaporizhia, there is a serious increase in the likelihood of losing Eurasian. The Ukrainian army plans to leave Zaporizhia and occupy their more advantageous lines. The Ukrainians are trying to enter the flanks of the opposition completely. The 35th Army is facing a great danger. The whole headquarters sees this, but no precautions are taken. The commanders appointed by the Russian administration do not have the compensate to solve this problem. Now, the most important issue of the commanders is to pin the blame on each other. As you can see, the operations of the Ukrainian armed forces have made the Russian armed forces very nervous. With the entry of Zaporizhia into Ukrainian control, another important threshold was crossed on the Zaporizhia front line. It is possible that we will talk about the Ukrainian army forces increasing their attack on Eurasian in coming days. On the other hand, the Ukrainian armed forces are continuing their advance to the south of Repulsed. I would like to show you the Ukrainian progress on the map according to the latest reports from the region. According to local sources, the Ukrainian armed forces have seriously hit Russian positions in the direction of Pavlivka. According to the allegations, the Ukrainian army has liberated some areas around the village of Pavlivka from the occupation of the Russian army with the recent attacks. However, this information is still a claim. There is no confirmed information from the area yet. I would like to continue reporting on the latest situation on the Bakhmut front line, which is the node of the front line. As you may recall, I mentioned in our previous reports that the Ukrainian Armed Forces were conducting large-scale operations in and around Klishchivka, located south of the city center of Bakhmut. Ukrainian operations in the region appears to have scared of Russian troops. As you may recall, the Ukrainian army had captured some position in Kurdymoivka, located south of Bakhmut. The Russian army, on the other hand, has moved to recapture this position in recent days. However, the attacks of the Russian armed forces failed. The Ukrainian defense forces managed to repel the Russian attacks. On the other hand, there is also an attack by Russian troops on Ukrainian positions in the direction of Klishchivka and Andriivka. However, the Ukrainian defense fortifications located in the region are quite strong. So far, the Russian troops have not had any significant success. The offensive units of Ukrainian armed forces have increased their operations around Bakhmut. In particular, Ukrainian artillery units are inflicting heavy blows on Russian positions. Due to artillery attacks, the Russian defense fortifications have been heavily damaged. Therefore, it seems possible that the Russian positions will be dispersed during general offensive by the Ukrainian infantry. We are witnessing remarkable developments on the northern front of Ukraine-Russia war. According to the latest reports, the Russian armed forces have established a new dominance area around Zaporizhia, which is located on the northern front in recent days. However, the Ukrainian army managed to recapture this area of dominance. After fierce clashes, the Ukrainian armed forces managed to establish dominance in the region. It is currently being quoted by local sources that the armed forces of Ukraine have begun to build new defensive fortifications. What do you guys think? How do you think the Ukrainian army's liberation of Zaporizhia should be evaluated? Do you think that the Ukrainian army will advance to Ukraine? What are your ideas about the latest situation on the Bakhmut line? Mention it in the comments. I'm reading all of your comments and I care.